Let's talk about annotations in this video. An annotation can be used with your Apex classes or your Apex methods or even with your Apex variables. And it can modify the way your method, variable or class is used. For example, you have a method which runs some complex business logic. And now that business logic has changed a bit and you have written a new version of that method. So either you can delete the previous version or you can mark that previous version as deprecated so that your developers would know that this piece of code is deprecated and we should not use this method anymore. So for that we have an annotation called @deprecated, which can give a clear indication to all the developers who are still using that previous method that this method or this piece of code is deprecated and please use this new version. So this is how an annotation can modify the way that a method is used. Now let's take a look at another example. Here I have a method called getAllAccounts from a class called accountController, and I have annotated this getAllAccount method with an Aura enabled annotation. Now what this annotation does is it makes this method available to be used inside Lightning. So when we'll be learning about the Aura framework, then we will know that how we can call an Apex method. So at that time we'll know that Aura enabled is an annotation that we have to use to call these methods from our Aura components or maybe from our Lightning Web components. And these annotations, they can also accept some modifiers like the way we have one here, which is cacheable equals to true. And the use of these modifiers is just to add some properties to your annotation. It's not mandatory that each annotation has some modifiers. It could be like some of the annotations has multiple modifiers and some of them doesn't have any modifiers at all. In Apex, we have a few number of annotations and the purpose of each of these annotations is different. Like we have already seen the purpose of Aura enabled, which makes your method available to be used inside Lightning pages or inside the Lightning components or the Aura components. I have also talked about the deprecated annotation, and then we have future annotation as well, which can help us to create future methods, which we will take a look at later on in this course. Then we have invocable method. So this method can be called from the process builders or visual flows, and like that we have number of other annotation as well, like isTest, test setup, and the purpose of each of these annotation is different. And as and when we'll move in this course, we'll explore few of these annotations. Now let's go back to our Salesforce org and I'll show you a quick demo of one of the annotation. So here in my Salesforce org, I have an Apex class called Annotations demo, and it has a method called just another method. Now this method is very simple. It has only a debug statement which says can you call me from the process builder. So nothing new that we are seeing here. Now what if we want to call this method from a process builder? Can we directly do that? Let's take a look. Let's go to our setup and click on the process builder, and we are going to create a new process and we are going to name it Annotations demo. Let's select any of the object to start our process, and then we are not going to have any criteria to execute our actions, so we'll go with no criteria. And here under the actions you will have one of the action called Apex. And can you see your method or your Apex class name here? I don't see it. The reason being that method that we have just declared, which is called just another method, is not available to be called from the process builders, and we can easily change that with the help of an annotation. So let's go back to our class, and here on top of this method, let's use our annotation called @invocable method, which makes your method available to be called from process builders and visual flows. Let's save this class and let's go back to our process builder now. And here if you'll search for our class now, you will see that in the search result. And now our method can be accessed from the process builder. Just make sure that you add the @invocable method annotation on your Apex class and save it. So this was a quick overview about annotations, and I wanted you guys to be aware about this Apex feature as well, because we'll be using these annotations in our coming lectures.